So, last weekend, I decided to visit my uncle, who had recently splurged on one of those fancy new smart fridges. You know, the ones that send notifications to your phone and can even suggest recipes based on what's inside. As we sat down for lunch, I couldn't help but notice that Uncle Joe seemed a bit on edge, glancing nervously at the fridge every few minutes. When I asked him what was up, he muttered something about the fridge being possessed and how it had been yelling at him to chill out at odd hours. I chuckled, figuring he was just being his usual eccentric self, and left it at that. Later that evening, as we were watching TV, there it was again. A loud, clear voice from the kitchen bellowed, "Chill out, dude." Uncle Joe nearly leapt out of his chair, muttering about calling an exorcist. I decided to investigate, partly to ease his mind and partly because I was genuinely curious. As I crept into the kitchen, I noticed that his pet parrot, Polly, was perched on the fridge, looking particularly smug. The smart fridge itself was silent, its digital display blinking innocently. I put two and two together and burst out laughing. It turns out Polly had been listening to the fridge's notifications and had picked up the phrase "chill out" from the fridge's friendly reminders to close the door. And Polly, being the little mischief maker she was, decided to mimic the voice with uncanny accuracy. Uncle Joe was relieved, yet slightly embarrassed, having been outsmarted by a bird. He grumbled something about Polly always being a cheeky feather duster, but I could tell he was secretly impressed by her cunning. The next day, as I was getting ready to leave, I heard Polly squawk again from the kitchen, "Chill out, dude." Uncle Joe shook his head with a chuckle and said, "Well, at least now I know why the fridge always has a bird's eye view."